Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started, I have a few short slides, an overview of Delta and Delta Cargo and our impact in the region. A couple of comments for my distinguished panelists. First, for Occam, at Delta, we're focused on profitability, which is why we don't fly those big, ugly freighters around the world. That's point number one. I did used to fly freighters, and I lost all my hair during that year and a half. So to Scott and Kai, thank you very much for your business. UPS and Kuehne+Nagel are two of our largest customers, both in our top 8. So thank you both for your business. And Robert, thanks for telling me that Warren is in Munich presenting to Emirates. I'm headed there this afternoon. So I will kidnap him before he makes that presentation. Because I am not a fan of all those freighter airlines being in Atlanta, but clearly understand their desire to be here because Atlanta is such a viable air freight market. And finally, Steve, for you, you presented $2.77 a gallon for jet fuel. If anybody's willing to sell us that jet fuel for $2.77, we'll take about 4 billion gallons. And that just highlights the vulnerability of this industry because, jet fuel in February was $2.77. It peaked at, $3.35. About a week and a half ago, and has since come down a little bit. But the impact on a business like Delta's or Lufthansa's or UPS with where fuel is headed is enormous, and can spell the difference between having a very good year and actually losing money. And that's kind of frightening when you talk about your biggest cost that you don't have a lot of control over. But if I can just give you a quick overview of Delta, just a little bit by the numbers. Obviously, our headquarters in Atlanta, we're very, very proud to be here, celebrating our 70th anniversary, here in Atlanta. From when we moved the headquarters here, we obviously purchased Northwest a couple of years ago and moved that operation here as well. Our hubs are in Atlanta, Cincinnati, Detroit, Memphis, Minneapolis, New York, Salt Lake City, Paris, Amsterdam, and Tokyo. Atlanta is our largest hub. We operate over 1,000 daily departures here. Departures and arrivals, 1,000 each. Obviously, what goes up must come down. So, to 210 destinations. Overall, corporately, Delta, we serve 346 destinations, 100 international, 246 domestic, 64 countries. We have 728 mainline aircraft in our fleet, another 650, 700 regional jets operated by our partner airlines. We carry over 160 million passengers a year. Again, 5,600 daily flights operated by the airline, 74 million frequent flyers, $5.5 billion in liquidity, and last year $32 billion in revenue. 80,000 employees, and we're very proud that 27,000 of them are in the Atlanta area. So obviously we have a lot at stake when it comes to growing the business here. Delta has a tremendous global reach. We're a founding member of the SkyTeam Alliance. We participate in the industry's leading joint venture with Air France-KLM, which means that we truly have a joint venture across the Atlantic. It's the world's largest joint venture, about $10 billion in revenue, and we share everything that's on board the Air France-KLM, Alitalia, and Delta airplanes across the Atlantic. So when you count all of our partners together, we offer more than 13,000 daily flights. From Atlanta, and this is something we're very, very proud of. From Atlanta, Delta serves 5 continents, and with one stop, 6 continents actually with our Sydney service. So you can go practically anywhere in the world nonstop from Atlanta, which is what makes this an attractive hub for those of you who live here and do business here. We know how difficult air travel can be, but if you can get somewhere nonstop and you can do business nonstop, whether it's cargo business or it's your passenger business, it makes life a lot easier. We've seen the $32.5 billion number thrown out there. That was 2009. The economic impact of Hartsfield-Jackson, that number is significantly larger today, right, Robert? I'm sure with a lot of the new flying that's coming in. What's particularly attractive about Atlanta is that you're a 2-hour flight from 80% of the U.S. population, 119 of the nation's 115 largest population areas. So it's very attractively situated. From a cargo perspective, we have our largest facility here. We have close to 700,000 square feet of warehouse space. We've built a very large perishable center, which we affectionately call the fridge. It's a fully temperature-controlled facility for pharmaceuticals and fruits and vegetables, fish. And we're trying to bring a lot of that business that transits through Miami today up north into Atlanta. And we think this airport and this region is very well situated to become a perishable hub. 36 loading docks, on-site USDA, Customs and Border Patrol, our friends at the TSA are with us there in the cargo facility. In fact, all their dogs train there and are based there, our TSA canine teams. And then we have a state-of-the-art security system for high-value cargo as well. So that's the cargo facility at a high level. In terms of business presence, for Delta Cargo, we move about 1.5 million pounds of freight per day into and out of Atlanta, and this is kind of broken down into 2,000 individual daily shipments. The yield or the air freight value of the products we move in and out of Atlanta is about $1 million a day, but that's just the air freight cost. The actual value of the goods, and Robert put a number out there, is in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in terms of the product. If you think of the heavy machinery and the pharmaceuticals and the electronic equipment that moves through here. We have a number of customers who are based in Georgia. UPS is our largest. And we have a very, very close relationship with our partners at UPS. And in terms of cargo specifically, we inject about 300,000 a day into the local economy, about 100,000 in salary, 200,000 in other operating expenses. So that's just cargo's small contribution to the Atlanta economy. If you talk about Delta as a whole, that number is obviously significantly larger. And then, my final slide, we do business with a very wide variety of companies here in Georgia. We'd like to hear from any of you who'd like to do business with us, either as a supplier or for us to supply you with air freight or even passenger travel. But just on the cargo side, we obviously work, a lot of you in here are freight forwarders. We work with all of you. IT and telecom providers we work very closely with. We move a lot of live animals, so we keep a lot of vets and kennels in business around the Atlanta area. Work with mortuaries and funeral homes. We move more human remains than any airline in the world. Customs clearinghouses, all of you in terms of who do brokerage and work like that, we work closely. Obviously, truckers. Our trucking network is very extensive, and truckers provide a lot of benefit to what goes on here on the air freight side. And what makes Atlanta very attractive is the infrastructure and the road infrastructure. While it's getting very congested and we have to continue to invest, it's a lot less congested than cities like Chicago. And we're seeing a lot of our major customers continuing to grow their hubs here in Atlanta at the expense of hubs in JFK or Chicago because the infrastructure here can support growth. And those cities tend to be tapped out. And then finally, produce and perishable shippers we work very closely with. So I kept my presentation pretty short. I know that we have some time for questions and all now. So again, I want to thank you for listening and thank you for coming today. Thank you.